All right, here it is, hot out of the oven, a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks here on Wednesday, the 10th day of October, 2018, our last really warm day of this stretch and probably the last time we're going to see 80s until next spring. Pretty safe money at this point. We might see 70s before the autumn season is through, but I think we're probably done with the 80s. Here's the last 7 days. Notice since Saturday we've had 5 consecutive days in the 80s. This rivals the really hot October stretch we had back in 2007. It's not just been the daytime highs, it's been the overnight lows as well. We've had a hard time dropping below the mid-60s during this stretch. We managed to sneak down to 65 this morning at the Youngstown Warren Airport right at 7 o'clock just before daybreak. That's a full 22 degrees above average. And record max mins, in other words, warm low temperatures, have been tied or set across the region for several consecutive days now. Now, we did have a little bit of rain that snuck in late this afternoon. This was a little bit unforeseen yesterday. Didn't think this would transpire the way it did, but this cloud deck produced a little bit of moisture late in the afternoon, early in the evening, a little light rain and some drizzle that pushed through. Probably get into a break before a few more showers push back in overnight. Quick detour down to the tropics. All right. Michael ended up being a very, very strong Category 4 hurricane. The criteria for a Category 5 storm, only 2 miles per hour higher than what the winds were at landfall today in the Florida Panhandle. So this was one of the strongest hurricanes to make landfall on record in the U.S. It was historic. It was devastating. Pictures and video are unbelievable coming out of Florida this evening. And now Michael is still a hurricane, even though it's fairly far inland, but it will weaken into a tropical storm, still producing a flood threat for parts of Florida, Georgia, and eventually the Carolinas as well. And tropical storm warnings extend all the way up through places such as Charlotte, Raleigh, and out towards the Outer Banks and down towards Myrtle Beach as well. All right, away from the tropics, the big story across the U.S. is the changing air masses. Here's our cold front coming east. Warm front can be drawn up in here. Notice how big of a temperature difference there is on either side of each front. And this cold front means business. It's coming our way tomorrow, and behind it, some legit chilly air. The growing season about to come to an end in parts of the Plain States and out towards the Intermountain West. So some freezing temperatures over the next couple of nights in places such as Denver. Real quick, back to the tropics before we leave Michael. Again, the rain's going to be an issue. Now, this is not Florence. Florence, of course, brought devastating flooding last month to the Carolinas because it was such a slow mover. It was basically stationary for a time, but Michael is moving pretty quickly, so it will drop a slug of heavy rain, but it will not be the kind of situation we had in Florence. It's just bad news for the Carolinas, where they don't want a drop of rain. If they didn't have a drop of rain for the rest of the year, they'd be just fine with that after all the rain they had during the summer. All right, back here at home. Our initial band of showers pushes away this evening. We get into a lull, then a spotty shower or two rolls back in late tonight. I think these showers are out of here pretty early in the day tomorrow, no later than mid-morning. We get into the afternoon with clouds gradually trying to thin. We might have a nice sunset tomorrow evening with the departing cloud deck and some clearing of the skies. Might be on alert for another really nice sunset tomorrow evening. So that's something we'll be watching out for. I do think the clouds roll back in though tomorrow night and Friday, a very November-ish day Friday. I've got 50 for the high Friday. I think there's going to be some places that fail to get out of the 40s. It's going to be a dramatic change compared to where we've been. All right, so we're dry for high school football Friday evening, but late Friday night into Saturday morning, little disturbance, quick mover. We'll bring some rain showers. The timing on this pretty good. If you want to, be outdoors on Saturday, it's not going to be a real nice day, but I think the rain showers are out of here pretty early. So we're probably just left with clouds and a real November chill on Saturday afternoon. So 50 Friday, 50 Saturday. Sunday's a better day. It's the better half of the weekend. We'll make a run at 60 with increase in sunshine. My average line is misplaced here. Of course, it should be more like up here. But we will be below the average through the first half, at least of next week, and probably beyond that as well. Here's the next 10 days versus average. So it's been a long time since we've put together a stretch like this of at least probably 9 days with 9 consecutive days of below average temperatures. And this streak might not end at 9. May continue beyond this. So this is quite a remarkable change considering where we've been, not only in October, but of course in September and all the way through the beginning of May. I've been talking about this a lot on this video lately, that the atmosphere seems to have had a fever in our region and in a lot of places since mid-spring. After a chilly March and April, since May 1st, it has been very, very toasty compared to the average. So that makes our upcoming pattern change all the more significant, all the more noticeable, and we might eventually be talking about our first frost and freeze concerns of the year before October is through. I doubt we see many next week because to me it looks like at least the first half of the week will be pretty cloudy. Cloudy nights may prevent it from getting too chilly at night. But of course, just like we do every year, eventually we'll be talking about our first frost or freeze of the season. That's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for joining me. I'll see you back here for the Thursday evening edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast.